Today we're going to be talking a little bit about regionals because that is next Wednesday. Hopefully you've got an email from Jeff that tells you all about the time you'll be presenting and if you happen to be judging, what that entails. If you didn't, please let me know. And you can email me and say, hey, I didn't get anything from Jeff, and I'll reach out to him and figure out what's going on. I'll show you where to find the schedule as well to see where everybody's times are in just a second. So we're also going to be talking about DPOJs today. So let's go ahead and share my screen. And we are going to go to the STLP website. So if you're not familiar with where to go for the STLP website, if you just Google STLP, first result, right? So first result there, STLP, .education.ky.gov. And if we scroll down here, the info where it's got the timer, it says regionals level 1 info here. If you click here, you will see Jeff made a really good video about helpful tips for your project pitch. It talks about using those guiding questions in that project toolkit as kind of your rubric for when your kids are presenting. Are they answering all those guiding questions? He talks about finding a quiet space for your kids, to present. So, and making sure that they hop on at the right time. They don't hop on like 15 minutes early, or they don't hop on 15 minutes late. It's important that you're just prompt at that time. If your time is 10:15, hop on there about 10:14 would be okay. But if you hop on there at 10:10 or 10:05, you may interrupt the group that is presenting prior to you. So please hop on there at about that 10, like maybe a minute or two before your time at the earliest. All right. Make sure your kids know how to share their screen when they're presenting as well, if you're using Google Slides, which most people are. So great video there. The pitch schedule is here. So if you haven't seen the entire pitch schedule, you can click to see everyone's times or just confirm your time. So if I expand this out, it's in alphabetical order by district. So we can go Command F on that and search for Jefferson. So Command F, if you're not familiar with that tool, I can search a document for the word Jefferson. And the first result is actually from Henderson County, Jefferson Elementary. But then if we go down to row 363, Jefferson County starts, okay? And then we're in alphabetical order from there. So you see there's Alex Kennedy, and there's their project title, and there's their pitch time. If you have multiple projects, Alex Kennedy is going from 9:30 to, looks like, 10:25, because they've got 4 projects presenting there, okay? Notice there's like a 5-minute grace period between each project presenting. So this is where you would find that. Again, it's on the STLP main site. And if you go to the regionals info and you scroll down, there's a pitch schedule there with everybody's times. And again, hopefully you got this in an email from Jeff. If you did not, please let me know. And then judges, if you are judging, here's a judge training video. So are there any questions about regional projects before we go any further? Does anybody have any questions about regional projects? Sharon, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have more than one question, but you just tell me when you want me to stop talking. Okay.
Go for it.
First question is, do the students use their first names only, or first and last, both during the presentation and on whatever products they produce?
So the safest bet would be to be like, hi, I'm Russ from, if I'm starting my project presentation and I say, hello, I'm Russ, and then the next person goes, I'm Steve, I'm Jim, I'm Jane. First name basis is always great. If they use their last names on this, it's not going to be recorded. It's not as so it's not really a huge issue. Or if their names are on a project, full names on a project, are on the project slides, that's not going to be a huge issue either. But the safest bet would be first name, and maybe if they want to put their last initial on, or first initial of their last name on there, that's okay too.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. And then the other question was, as far as the logo goes, there are two logos. Which one is the one that has to be on the slides?
Any STLP logo could be on there. So it could be the STLP logo that you guys have, the STLP logo that you're familiar with, which is the STLP circles with the state of Kentucky in the background, or it could be a custom STLP logo, maybe that you've created specifically for Westport Middle School. So any STLP logo is fine. The safest one to go is always that traditional STLP logo that looks like this. Let me show you. So I'll show you my screen here again. So this is the general logo. If you're like, oh, if you're not familiar, yes, you want an STLP logo on your slide somewhere. You want an STLP logo on your slide somewhere. And so this logo here is just an easy logo to grab and put somewhere on your slides. Okay. But it can really be any STLP logo. It can be this logo. It can be this logo. Like I said, it can be one that you created. Like this is Fayette County. This is their STLP logo. So any kind of STLP logo on there, you're going to be good to go.
Okay, perfect. I didn't know if STLP was a national thing or just a Kentucky thing.
No, it's just a Kentucky thing.
Okay,
we hope it goes to be a national thing eventually, but it's just Kentucky thing now.
And I have two more questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So how are they actually going to present? Is it going to be like being in a Google Meet when we were doing NTI kind of thing? So you're seeing their screen, but not the students.
Yeah, so exactly. It's going to be exactly like that. And they'll be given a time, and they'll have a Meet link that they'll click on, much like you clicked on this link. And then they will present their screen. So just how you're seeing me present, this is how they're going to, this is how the judges are going to see them present. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
And last one. So I know that up to 4 students can present. Mm-hmm. Do you recommend that, say, if there are 8 people on the team, that they be in the room or that they not be in the room? And where is the coach during this time?
They can be in the room as long as they're quiet and not distracting. And the coach is fine to be in the room, but do not. This happened last year, and people got docked for it. There was a school that got dock points because the judges thought the coach was kind of feeding the kids the answers. So it's kind of up to you whether you want to be in the room or not. If you've got kids that are always going to look at you for the answers, basically we don't want to hear you if you're in the room. So if you're the coach, you want to be in the room, that's great. But we don't want to hear you at all.
Okay. So my rationale was, of course, I knew that the coach was not supposed to be giving input, but thank you for clarifying that. But my rationale was, I'm teaching classes all day. Do I need to find somebody to cover my classes, or do I send my kids some quiet place and have to find them a place to go?
No, most people just send their kids to a quiet place and they just present. A lot of people send their kids to like the assistant principal's office. Now, hopefully there's not a kid in there that's, been acting up or something. But the assistant principal's office is good. Sometimes the librarian's office is good. Quiet space, like that.
Perfect. Oh, and I do have one more question. I signed up to help with coaching, but if I do that, then I would have to get a sub, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to do that or not.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, you're not supposed to get a sub. So I would just email Jeff, say, hey, I can't judge, and it's okay.
Great, thank you. And I have one more, but I'll save it for later.
Right. Sarah, what's your question?
My question was very similar. I was like, I'm an instructional coach, and so I signed up to do the judging. However, with so many teachers in and out, a lot of times I am in classroom subbing. So and most of the time I don't find out until like the morning of. So if the morning of I have to be in a classroom subbing, what should I do at that point?
Email Jeff. So when you guys are sent judge emails, were you guys given like a team of judges? Could you see like who's on your team of judges?
I got the email, but I don't think I see anything about a team yet. Okay.
So with that, there's gonna be 3 or 4 judges on each team. So if one drops off, this always happens. It's not gonna be a big deal. But yeah, the earlier you can email him, the better. If you can email him that morning, that would be great. But yeah, if something happens and you can't be there to judge, something happens that morning and you can't be there to judge, that's okay. Because it always happens that way. You know, he's got a team of 4 or 5 judges and one doesn't show up. That's okay. But if you know now that you're going to be pulled and not be able to judge, go ahead and email him. All right, any other questions?
I have one more.
Yeah.
So we'd signed up for a second project because I had a group of students that wanted to do something, but so far they haven't pulled together a pitch yet. So when is the latest time to say we're not going to have that second team there?
So to not have that second team there, you're going to so if you don't so basically you've signed up for 2 projects and you're not sure the second project is going to get off the ground.
Correct.
That's okay. So if that happens, then just don't show up for your time. Or you can do it this way. You can, since you're back to back, you'll likely have the same judges. You just tell them, hey, we never got our second project together.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're like, okay, we didn't get our second project together. And they'll be like, okay, that's it. Because it happens too a lot. And sometimes what happens is if you're presenting 4 projects, maybe it's the second project that you're presenting that never got off the ground. And so it's like, okay, we didn't get our second project going. Can we skip to our third project schedule? And that happens too. And that's totally fine. No problem, Sharon. All right. Any other questions about regional projects?
I have a question. This is our first time, mine and our students, ever doing this. Are there, and I have not looked, but are there any videos from the past? I don't know if they've been recorded where my students can see what's going to happen.
As far as present, like how the regional project is presented?
Right.
There's not really regional project video. So Jeff made a video on that regional site that helpful tips for your project pitch. I recommend watching that and just kind of doing exactly what he says.
Okay.
Your project is what, a student tech team, Amanda?
Yes.
Okay. So again, you're just going to talk about the problem, which is, you know, you've got all of these devices and they need to be managed or cared for. And, you know, how's your tech team solving that issue? And what kind of technology are they using? Are they planning to use? Are they using maybe a Google site or a Google form or Google Sheets, that kind of thing?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. 7 guiding questions, which are laid out here.
Yes, I've seen that. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Going once, going twice, going 3 times on the regional project stuff. All right, cool. So let's talk about DPOJs now, because DPOJs are this kind of the second component of STLP, and they're optional. They are optional. Let's get that over with. They're optional, but I'd love to see DPOJs submitted from JCPS schools. Let me show you last year's numbers as far as that goes. So in 2022, which in January of 2022, we had 299 DPOJs, digital products, submitted from JCPS schools. Okay, and the most submitted category was digital art. We had digital art category submissions over 40. We had 40 submissions in digital art. Then there was stop motion animation, which was really popular last year, and then infographics. Okay, so we had a wide variety of categories submitted last year as far as digital products go. Okay. And you see how we increased from 2021 to 2022 there. Now, let's talk about how we submit DPOJs this year, because it's a little bit different than in the past. All right, so from the STLP main page, you guys are seeing my screen right now, right?
Yep, we see it.
All right. Okay, good. From the STLP main page, if you just click on DPOJ, okay, up here, DPOJ, he's got 4 steps laid out to submit DPOJs this year. And notice registration closes January 18th, so it's already open. So it is open. It closes January 18th. Step 1, he says, determine which entries to submit. All right, and so he says, check out our resource pages. So step 1, if you click on that, it's going to take you to this, where you can view finalists from last year. So maybe you're like, well, what does a digital art project submission even look like? Or what does an infographic submission even look like? You can look here and click on these links to see. you can click on this. This is a really helpful spreadsheet or a slideshow that I think I sent out this year or this week in the 3 things, where it goes category by category and it kind of lays out for you what each category might entail. All right. So again, really helpful as far as like showing you what these all look like. All right. And that, I'm not going to go through them all, but yeah, that's a really helpful resource from Fayette County. Fayette County put this together to kind of show you what that looks like. So let's go back here. That's step 1. You're kind of figuring out what those resources might look like. Here it says use the planning guide to get organized. Now, what he means by that is this thing right here, this plan for DPOJ here, and it's this spreadsheet. All right. I recommend if you've got a ton of DPOJ entries you're going to submit, and sure, use maybe this to plan it out. You don't have to, though. It's kind of a little bit cumbersome, in my opinion, but it's a helpful tool if you've got a ton of stuff to submit. Now, where you really get down to the nuts and bolts of this is step 3 and step 4. Okay, when you submit a DPOJ, you have to submit a judge as well. Okay, and you can submit up to 8 entries, DPOJ entries. So you could do maybe 4 different categories, since you can have 2 per category, without needing a second judge. All right. So, but you have to register a judge even if you only submit 1. And it's actually pretty fun and easy to judge DPOJs. So when you register a judge for step 3, you're just going to, usually the coordinators just type in their own email to be a judge. It says, yes, we submitted, again, are you state recognized STLP, school district, Jefferson County, school name. So let's say if I was doing this from Chenoweth Elementary, say I'm going to do it from like Camp Edwards. All right, I'm going to say next. All right, my name is Russ, last name Hockenberry. There we go. Next, and notice one more page. Again, I type my judge's name. Now, it could be that you register a different judge. You know, it could be like you register that your coach is you, and then maybe your AP or your counselor wants to be a judge, and like you could make your counselor your judge, or anybody in your building, your principal your judge, which happens sometimes. Okay, and then you would type their name here, but generally it's going to be you. And they'll say judge number 1 requested assignment, and here is where you get to choose your category. So you would choose, okay, you know what, I really want to judge, I think I'm going to judge infographics this year. I'll judge infographics, and then, but again, you get to choose your category, which is awesome. And then again, if you are submitting 9 or more products, you got to submit a second judge. If you're having a problem finding a judge, please either submit my name or Steven's name or anybody in my department's name. Okay. Email me and I will give you a name for a judge. All right. So if you email me and say, hey, I need a judge for DPOJ, I want to submit DPOJs, or I want to submit, 20 DPOJs, but I don't have a second judge, email me and I will give you a name to submit as your second judge. Okay. So don't let that be a barrier of like, we don't have a judge. All right. So submit. So now I've submitted my thing where I'm going to be a judge. Great. So now I'll go back to here. It says step 4. Step 4, register your products. This year, all categories have their own registration, so you can submit them as each category is ready. Okay, so project registration. Now, in the past, what has happened is he's had one Google form, and it's been like 25 pages long with every category listed. This year, he's doing it a little bit differently, okay? So if I want to register a logo design project, I just click here. All right, so I click here, and I type in my name, and I type in, and it auto-fills my first and last name, which is great. And I go to next. Notice it's only 3 pages long. So this is important. He says tips for posting products online. Judges prefer web links that jump directly to the specific product. Process being reviewed. Test your links from home, from your phone, from school. And why this is important for JCPS is if a student sends you a link, like for example, I've got a link here of a kid's work. Okay, So if I were to submit this kid's work and go to share right now and say copy link, notice it says restricted. Only people can with access can open this link, because student work is blocked by everybody who's not a JCPS employee or student. Okay, so they can't. If you are in Fayette County, if you're in Bullitt County, if you're in Trigg County, if you have a Gmail account and you're trying to look at it, you're blocked. You can't look at it. So what you need to do for every submission that you've got that you want to submit as a DPOJ, just do this: file, make a copy. All right. When you make a copy, now you as the teacher are the owner of this file, not the student, which is important because you as the teacher can change this general access from restricted to anyone with the link, So now that judge from Trigg County or Warren County or Trimble County can hit copy link, or can actually view cannot hit copy link, can view your project. Sorry. So I changed it to anyone with the link. I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to hit done. And so now what I do when I go back to register my project is when it asks for a product URL, I'm going to do Control V and paste the link there. And so now those judges can view that link, okay, because I made a copy as the adult. All right. So kid links, if a student sends you a link, remember, you have to make a copy first and change the access and then paste it here. All right. All right. So let's say this is STLP mug. All right. And the student's name is, I'll just make up a name, even though I know his name. All right. And then you do want to put their whole name on there. Okay. You want to put their whole name on there. And then just in case they win. And then the process URL. So this is important too. Every DPOJ entry has to have a reflection. So on this, what this kid could do, honestly, is something like this. On this kid could just do a text box and say something like, I created this design in Google Drawings. I took the existing STLP logo and changed it to, look to a gray color scheme or something like that. This kid wouldn't talk like that, but essentially you're like, because no kids talk like that, but like essentially they just write 2 or 3 sentences about how they created it, what tool they created it in, and maybe why they created it. This was for a competition in Miss Briggs' class. Talk about where they created it. If they created something in social studies, they could say, we created this in social studies, we created this in science, we created this, wherever. So just basically say what they designed it in, where they maybe a little bit about the design and why they designed it that way. Really, again, 2 or 3 sentences is all you need. And the easiest thing to do is have them do the reflection right there on the design. All right. Or if you've got a Google Doc, you can do a separate one as well. But if you have them do it directly on the design, what you can do is just, again, copy that link again, and then go back to here and then paste, and then choose their, so it's the same link there as this one, and then choose their division. So for the K through 5 here, middle school here, high school here, and that's it. All right. If you've got 2 different ones you want to submit, you do the same thing for your second one. So maybe a different student there and different URL. And then it says verification of original work and hit yes. So this is the original work from this kid. Permission to publish, yes. Recognition of STLP state, yes. All right. So you check all those boxes and then finally hit submit. All right. And that's it. That's it as far as submitting regional DPOJs go. And so then if you had a documentary you'd want to submit, you'd click here, manipulated image here, Minecraft project here, but they all basically work the same way. you're going to need to make a copy of a link and then submit it for your kids. Any questions on that? Let me stop presenting. All right, DPOJs, again, a little bit different process this year. It's not just one form. You got product-specific links this year, which is just a little bit different than last year. Hopefully, we get, we had 299 last year. I'd love to get 400 this year. That'd be amazing. But we shall see. So with that, you've got a few days here till regionals, and so I think everybody asked their questions earlier in the meeting. So, but if anybody has thought of any questions in the meantime, feel free to shoot me those now. If not, then have a great Wednesday and rest of your week. And if you think of something else before next Wednesday, send me an email. Okay, I'm really good about answering emails, and I can get back to you. All right, thanks, guys.
Take care.
Russ, for the DPOJ judging, we have to submit a judge if we submit anything for that. Is that judging live like the regionals are? Or is that just something that's going to be sent to us?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. No, so it is just something to be sent to you. It's just they'll say, here's your 5 products to judge. Submit it by the end of the week. So
okay.
So it's something where you can do it on your own time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, glad I stuck around. That was a great question.
Yeah, that was a great question. And I had in my mind to answer it as I was going through, but or to say that, but I totally blanked. So I appreciate you asking that question. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.